And welcome to Bullseye for the last time this season. Darek Sharp, Caylee, Cottrell, Joey Johnston. We knew we'd be headed to a bowl game somewhere. It turns out it's in Orlando on Wednesday, the Cure Bowl against Old Dominion, a battle of two 9-3 teams. Sure, we will be speaking about that game, but a few things have happened between the end of the regular season, the 52-3 win against Rice, and that bowl game, namely a coaching change at USF. This show has been with Alex Golesh the last 3 years. He is now the head coach at Auburn. I want to say, if you're watching, Alex, thank you for everything, and I know we have similar feelings.
Yeah, absolutely. I think Coach Golesh is one of the best interview subjects that I've seen as a head coach. I can't remember a time sitting down with him or asking him a question where he didn't give me a great answer. So I appreciate that, Coach, and appreciate all that you've done for the program, and we're certainly going to miss you and wish you all the luck at Auburn University.
I know Golesh had a special relationship with you too, Caylee.
Yeah, I mean, I think everyone can see how intense he could be, how stone-faced he could be at times, but I think when you're in his circle and you get him one-on-one, he makes you feel like he is so honed in on you and how important you are, and you know, having the whole team sing me happy birthday at practice once is something that I'll never forget from him. And the way he always asked about my family and my parents and just truly cared about his people is something I'll never forget and I'll cherish forever. So I'm an AG fan for life, that's for sure.
Not a few days after that happened, Brian Hartline was named the new head coach of the Bulls, the offensive coordinator at a pretty decent program and a pretty good offense of Ohio State. It'll be Kevin Patrick as the interim coach for the bowl game. We're going to talk to KP and Mudia Rueben, but you've both gotten a chance to talk to Coach Hartline. Your first impressions? Mine are pretty high.
Yeah, well, the funny thing is, you know, I've been around doing this a while, and I was around for the Florida-Ohio State game and the Ohio State-LSU BCS championship game. And went back and looked at some of my stories, and I sat down with Brian Hartline a few times for some of this. I told him I specifically remember going to the New Orleans Superdome, sitting in the stands with him, talking about what it's been like for Ohio State to rebound from that thrashing of Florida and get back to the title game, and how they wanted to redeem themselves. I don't know why I remember it, but I remember sitting with him. He was a great quote then, he's a great quote now, and I know, you know, I'm certainly aware of how good he is now, and didn't know that USF would have a shot at a coach like that, but I'm delighted that he is here with us now.
For sure. And you, Caylee?
Yeah, the press conference was such an exciting, fun day, and that's the first day I got to meet him, and I interviewed him after. And, you know, something football-wise that stood out to me is that he's just such a consistent guy, and he wants the players to know that this program is going to be led by them, which I love. But personally, I mean, just a firm handshake and strong eye contact, and just was a very personable guy. It seemed like a family man, down to earth, very genuine soul. It seemed like, and he has a very sweet family, his wife and 3 kiddos. And you know, for him to come back to Florida, he mentioned Florida as his second home. So super excited to have him here and to work with him. I'm fired up.
It was funny watching them at the basketball game, the men's basketball game on Wednesday night, and how he just has this presence about him. His presence was well felt there, definitely. And you could see that his family is already getting along with Coach Hodgson's family, so that's kind of a neat little connection there. So a little bit about the bowl game, and then at the end we'll give even more on the opponent, Old Dominion, but I think it's a nice matchup. We have to make sure everybody knows it's going to be a different look for both teams. Byron Brown in the number 2 offense in the country. Byron will be sitting this game out, but he'll be on the sidelines, Joey. Unique.
Yeah, either the sidelines or he may be in the booth.
There you go.
We're not
That's
quite
a good
sure,
point.
but he'll be a coach, and we see him on the practice field. He's coaching up his guys. Yep. You know, he's involved. As he always has. Kevin Patrick talked about, you know, really nothing's changed off the field. Byram is still Byram, and he's still going to bring that energy. So, and Gaston Moore will get the start. So we're looking forward to that. We certainly have seen great things from Gaston in practice. Now we get to see him start a game, and I know that means a lot to him. After 6 years, he gets to start a college football game.
Fantastic story, and he's actually behind us as we're taping this. He's got a camo shirt on. He's a very interesting story that's going to get told on Wednesday at Camping World Stadium. 5 o'clock is the kickoff. We will talk to KP next, along with Mudia Rueben. So stay tuned. Bullseye is ready to kick off. Darek Sharp with Joey Johnston and KP, Kevin Patrick, the interim head coach who has been here with Alex Golesh the last 3 years and is going to be coaching the bowl game. He was actually on the very first staff, which by looking at him, it's hard to believe. Either you started off very young as a coach or you're keeping yourself in good shape. Which is it?
I think I started off young. I mean, I think I was, 24 years old. I just got done, I was out with the Rams going through some surgeries, and I got a call, and You want to be a football coach? You want to coach the D-line? Yeah, sure. And that's how I ended up here. But I'm very blessed to have that opportunity.
I tell you what, there's some loud noises behind us, but that's good. And it's mostly your guys, the defensive guys, having some fun after practice. It looks like they don't want to stop playing. Does that tell people kind of the vibe of the team?
Well, you could do a documentary. I always say, if you sat back pre-meetings and when these guys are outside the lines, it's one of the most entertaining things. And I always tell them, too, like, we're just older versions of you guys. You know, so to me, I kind of lived through it a little bit more, and it's funny now. I mean, I could tell you stories too, but if you could put a camera on them, you'd have a season full of a documentary just to watch these guys, and it'd be entertaining.
Hey Kevin, we know the great pride you have in this program, and the historians of the team know that picture running out of the tunnel. You're leading the team out, so you always have a place here, and now you get a chance to be the head coach, the interim head coach here in a bowl game. Speak about your pride and speak about what this means to you to be able to lead this team into a bowl game.
I'm just honored that they looked at me that way, you know what I mean? And again, I continue to work with the staff that I work with, all year long, the last 3 years. And, just the opportunity, being here for 11 years, 11 seasons. I know it was a club year, but we scrimmaged on Saturday, but we were in there till midnight with Jim every day, and it felt like a season. So it's 11, but I mean it is. I mean when Rob asked me to do this, I kind of looked at him, but then again too, I'm a bull, and it means a lot to me. And this program means a lot to me. I don't know what the future holds for a lot of us, but I'm a man of my word, and those are my core values. I'm gonna finish what I started, and again, I couldn't be more excited to have this opportunity to work in a little bit of different. I'm still doing a lot of the same things, but work with the rest of our staff and this team to get our 10th win.
I know you just want to coach ball, and you're great with the defensive line, and that unit was fantastic this year. But as interim head coach, and I know you kind of realize all that goes into being the lead guy. I know you're probably not having to do everything, but how crazy has it become in college football? How much has the encompassment of that position kind of evolved into this huge overseeing situation?
I mean, obviously it's a short, span of time that I'm involved with. There's a lot of things that happen throughout a year that I don't have to do right now. I mean, it's amazing too, I've had the ability to connect with some players that I haven't, and I usually connect with everybody, but there's some odd-end guys, maybe some new guys I've, in this position now that I've been able to really connect with, and the things that people want to open up and tell me has been also entertaining. But the ability to be there for them, and different guys outside of maybe the D-line or D-line room, and to work with other position players, I couldn't be more thrilled. I tell you what, it's been enlightening. It's kind of opened my eyes. I've always wanted to just, and I've said this before, and I've always just wanted to coach the defensive front. That's my passion. I've never really thought about being a coordinator. I've never thought about being a head coach. And I know some people would look at that weirdly, but I'm a soldier, and you know what I mean. I love what I do, and I don't think that'll ever change. But I tell you what, it's kind of opened my eyes to a little bit more, and I like this too. You know what I mean? I like the responsibility. I think as a coach, you do it this long, you've got to really relish in those responsibilities and those challenges that you face on a day-to-day, and it's been a new experience for me, but I've had so much fun. But it's been easy because, the people that are around us, you know what I mean, and Coach Orlando's and Ron and Powell, in our recruiting department, and then different QCs, J's that are still here and committed to this process. It's been a really unbelievable experience in this short period of time. I'm very thankful. Very thankful.
Coach, there will be some changes on offense, particularly in this bowl game. Jack Taylor will call the plays and be the OC. Byron Brown is going to take on a coaching role and not play, and Gaston Moore will start at quarterback. Speak about what you look for from Gaston and Jack's play calling, and kind of what the offense is going to look like.
Well, being able to work with Jack these last 3 years, I watch everything. I really do. I'm a body language guy. I watch how players respond to other players and other coaches. Jack's always had the attention of those guys. He's had the attention of, the staff that left here, the head coach left here, and the offense coordinator. And you see the respect that the players got. This isn't, there isn't other than calling the plays, he's still operating at a high level. And I don't think, for me, saying it's my decision, I think it's something that we all saw and we're all confident in. when Jack had the opportunity to take this role, and it's like I told him too, you know, some of the greatest stories are born out of moments like this, man. Make the most of it. And the same thing for, you know, gas pipe, man, or gas tank. Call it gas pipe.
You can call it gas pipe.
Yeah.
But you know, even looking back and knowing about him and listening when he was coming here, his past, you know, this isn't his first rodeo. He's played games in the SEC. He's seen these things. I mean, and we've gone against him. I've seen him operate. You know, he's here for a reason. He's a damn good player. And I think too, you know, not only him, you're going to see somebody else step up that maybe nobody ever thought of, and they're going to their career or their name or whatever you want to call it, their popularity is going to be born out of this moment. And I think that's going to be the exciting thing that we're all looking forward to. And I have some ideas, but it's going to be fun to watch.
Yeah, we won't just spill the game plan, but I like what you said there. Now listen, speaking of playing in the SEC, we're in the middle of December. I got to take you back to September because as a longtime member of this program and a historian, that meant a lot. And the defense had a lot to do with it. Going back to the Swamp, how special was that?
You know, I didn't get to play against them when I was in college.
They wouldn't play you.
They wouldn't play us. That's
Let's get our story
I remember even said that to Spurrier one time when Mark Stoops and I went up to see Bob and them. I said, "Why don't you play?" And he got all mad. And he didn't really answer me. You know, he kind of did, but his body language and demeanor kind of explained it to me. But no, I have a lot of respect for him. But you know, and we played them before when I was here, and you know, the past coach that I was here with years ago, you always said if you want to be a big dog, you got to beat the big dogs. And then, you know, we beat Miami, we've beaten Notre Dame, we've beaten Clemson, you know, West Virginia. I mean, I don't think when I was here, we never lost to Central Florida, you know, and they've done a heck of a job over there over the years. But that was a really special moment. I remember telling the guys after, you know, before the game, if you want to live forever, today's the day to make your statement. And they did, and they lived in the moment. And that just speaks volumes about who we are as a program. And I couldn't. It was a special day because that was my first victory, you know, against them, my first win. So, you know what I mean? Get that one. So it was awesome. I smoked a nice cigar in the locker room after that. And I usually don't do that. And I don't cry. I had a little tear in my eye. I just got so happy I was so happy to see the players go through something so special like that. Again, it goes back to that's what this is all about. You know, I've had my opportunity. My name's been at the top of the page, as they say. And to see us work over the years from the beginning of this program till now and see these guys work and get that opportunity and then take advantage of the opportunity, that was special. Especially on their home turf.
Yes.
Hey, Kevin, a few words about your opponent, Old Dominion. They will not be utilizing their quarterback, so we'll see their backup. But what about the talent level and the challenge they're going to present to USF?
I think it's Quinn, number 10, and they're both of them, the number 2 and 3. They got good reps. They're good players. They're there for a reason. They've got, they got some really special players at receiver. Their running backs are great. I mean, they're one of the top offenses in their league, if not the top, and one of the top ones in the country. I mean, you watch the first play in the Indiana game. It's whatever, 80, 70, 85 yards. I can't really remember the time. I mean, it's to the house. And again, you know, it was the quarterback made it, but if you look around, those receivers were blocking. I would say you don't want to know what a great receiver is all about. You watch him when he doesn't have the ball. You know what I mean? You watch the block and you watch that offensive line. They're tough, gritty people. I mean, and their offense staff's done a phenomenal job. We got our work cut out for us. Defensively, you know, they got number 43 is a heck of a ball player. Very stout up front. They play physical. They're well coached. And I mean, their safety. I mean, there's a couple Florida boys, all safety. You know, he's from my hometown too. You know, they're boundary safety. So I mean, they're going to come ready to play. But I've had opportunity to watch them. They got talent now. I mean, you ask Indiana, they had that thing close, and they got after some people now, and they've done a hell of a job. Their coach staff, Ricky Ryan, has done a really unbelievable job.
It's a formidable opponent, but I'd be remiss if we did this interview with you and didn't ask you about how your unit specifically came together this year and how you're going to miss some special leaders all over that defense that are going to be playing in the last game of the ball.
Yeah, I mean, man, the names just want to be wrong. I mean, you start up front and, you know, you look at, we brought a lot of new guys in up front, and how they've meshed together has been just remarkable. Josh Selskar, the Devin Lees, you know, the Denard Flowers. Then you look at guys like Mike Williams, who's been here, fought through some things at the beginning of the year. always been a leader even when he was not playing, and now he's back playing, and he's caught himself back up. You look back at watching Mac and Shu from the beginning when we first got here and who they were and how they've developed and they've taken upon the leadership role. I mean, it has been phenomenal. Max, I mean, he is a different person. With Rock and all those guys in the back end, I think as a coach, that's our biggest pride. At the end of the day, you know what I mean, watching a young man develop into something and be the best version of himself, that's the biggest reward. And, I named a couple, but it's been impressive. And again, a lot of things what we've accomplished on defense, I think, if you just set some numbers aside and just the average per play that we have, we did a phenomenal job. One of the best, turnover defenses out there. And we've been put in some really unique positions. We've had some guys have, that missed some opportunities, and some guys have stepped up. But, like I said, name one or two would be just unfair. And again, I think it is. It's like I always go back sometimes the Miami Dolphins and no-name defense back in the day, which is even before me. So I don't want to age. I know it's got a little bigger hair, but I mean, to me, it's it was the defense. You know what I mean? And I truly believe that's offense as well. But on defense, it was a unit. And that was probably the biggest difference on defense this year was it wasn't individuals. They were playing for each other, and they played as a unit. And to me, if they speak about a defense more than they speak out of an individual player, that shows you how strong it really is.
I hadn't really thought about it that way, but you're exactly right. And that's to your credit and your entire staff's credit. Kevin Patrick, thank you so much for the time, and best of luck at the Cure Bowl.
Appreciate you. Go Bulls.
He was talking about receivers that block, and he's been doing some catching these last few weeks. Mudia Rueben joins us next. I don't know if our guests' ears were ringing recently as Kevin Patrick was talking about the receivers that are truly talented are the ones that are working when they're not catching the ball. This guy's been working, doing both a lot. Mudia Rueben, how's it been going for you the last month? I mean, you've turned into this receiving, catching, running over people monster. It's been a great thing to watch. What has it been from your point of view?
It's been good, honestly. It's been good to see everything that we practice and that we do behind closed doors actually come to fruition on the field. And it's good to really just kind of explode in front of everyone, in front of my family, in front of my teammates. There's a lot of people that put trust in me and the coaches that put me out there in that position to do what I can do. So I'm glad that I could just execute, capitalize on it, really.
You've been doing a lot of capitalizing.
Your agility and your physicality is so impressive. How would you describe your personal style of play?
I would say unique for sure, because like anytime I come back from the sideline, my teammates are like, what was that? Like, I haven't seen a run like that ever. And like, you'll see like a spin, a hop, a skip, a jump, whatever. But it'll usually be pretty elusive and usually be pretty productive for us and efficient. So I would say unique.
I like it.
For sure. The first one that jumped out this stretch of 14 catches, 325 yards, and 4 touchdowns in 3 games was the one against Navy, where it sure looked like 2 guys had you. And then the next game against UAB, again, 2 guys looked like they had you. Did you know what you were doing at the time, or did you look at the scoreboard after the play and realize, what was that?
What was that?
Good question. Navy, it was a little mix of both. I think the game before, I was telling Byram, and the week before practice, I was in Byram's ear about like, he keeps hurdling guys. You guys keep seeing him just jump over everybody. I was like, Byram, like, that's me. Like, I promise, like, you haven't seen it, but like, I do that. So I was like, I'm gonna try, and I was kind of like force spamming it. And that Navy game, it was the first guy, and like I made a move to try to make him miss. And then like I felt him on my backside, and I felt another defender coming. So I was like, oh yeah, Byram, this is the one. So I was trying to jump and hopefully clear him. The guy behind me like tagged my leg and missed the tackle. And that made my jump not so high of a jump, but the other guy just ended up hitting off of me. And then, so that one I was like not expecting. But then UAB was like momentum, force, I don't know, mass acceleration, force. That's what that one was. I was running, and then I think I was getting pulled by one defender in the back, and then I just kind of hunkered down, got my head over the ball, and was like, I'll let my momentum take me. And then,
This
in the end zone.
this guy with the physical examples. What exactly are you studying for your master's?
Yeah, pharmaceutical nanotechnology.
Nanotechnology.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
We're going to get more into that
So
in a little
impressive.
bit after football.
Sounds good.
Yeah, I just want to touch on too. I mean, what is your approach? You're such a playmaker. So what is the approach? Let's say you're lining up pre-snap, trying to read the defense. Let's say it's something like a key third down or a game-winning drive. How do you make it happen?
Sure.
What are you thinking about?
Outside of, all the little minute things in the game, like, the coverage, where the defender's playing leverage-wise in the play, in general, I'm thinking, like, let's get off the field, like, let's score. I think both of those games, both Rice and UAB, like I was telling my guys, I was like, I'm trying to catch it, and I'm going to just try to go score. Like, I'm going to just put my head down, run, try to go score. So I think that's the mindset that makes it all happen realistically, just try to go score.
Well, talking about scoring, you have had some pretty fun touchdown celebrations.
Yeah, I'm glad you went there.
You have to bring those up. I mean, do you have a favorite? Do you have a best memory this season?
And when did these ideas get hatched? It's not like you're just scoring and, hey guys, I got an idea.
Yeah, those are good questions. So as far as where the ideas get hatched, I'll say throughout the week in practice, like you'll see us out there like doing random little whatever. And then I think the night before or the day before the game, and even the day of the game, when we're doing our game day walkthroughs and our hotel stuff, we'll be in there kind of rehearsing like, hey, I got this and we're doing this. But then as for my favorite one, I got one called back versus FAU. And I think I was like down here doing the Kodak Bob. But that was probably my favorite one, I'm not gonna lie. I got called back.
It still counts.
It still counts in my eyes.
And now
The celebration counts.
I've seen hotel walkthroughs. That actually kind of makes sense that's where you would come up with it. All right, so I'm going to say something, and Mudia is going to know why I'm mentioning it. The USF men's soccer team started off its season this year against St. Louis and tied them 0-0. St. Louis is in the Final Four of men's soccer this year. And you were going to play there.
Yes, sir.
Not this year. So tell people how you went from soccer guy to football guy.
That is super funny. Yeah. Where do I even start with that? I'll start like 2019, I think it was. Coach Kevin Stoll, who was at the time the assistant coach of St. Louis University, he invited me to come out to St. Louis to do these trials for their academy team. He was just looking for players, and I think he had seen me on a tournament circuit. And then a few months later, a few months later, the next year, that is, he reaches out to me and he's like, hey, like, I'm head coach of St. Louis University now, and like, I remember when I brought you on and had you come trial in St. Louis, like we love you, yada, yada, yada. And then I believe it was just a few months after that, I sent him a text and was like, hey, Coach Stoll, I'm gonna be trying out football. Yeah. I'm still gonna be playing club soccer, but, like, I just think it's something cool for me to try out, and I think something might come of it. And then down the line, a couple camp showcases, I get an offer, and then I'm like, okay, it's real life now. Then I start playing high school football. I put on the pads actually, and then I start being productive on the gridiron and get real offers.
And ends up going to Stanford, incidentally.
Ends up at Stanford, true.
I was going to say, I love your journey. So take us back to the beginning. I mean, your parents are from Nigeria.
Right.
When did they move here, and what was your upbringing like, and then your journey to Stanford, and now here?
Yeah,
what does that look like for you?
My parents came here in the 90s. They were both born in Nigeria, both born in Edo State. They came here, and then I was born in Kansas City, Kansas. I moved over to the Missouri side when I was pretty young, but they're pretty traditional. From like a young age, I would be eating jollof rice, fufu. These are African foods. Grew up, house was big on respect, and then soccer was kind of the thing that I kind of attracted to at a young age. I have an older brother, and he also played soccer, and watching him play, we were always competitive with each other, and then it grew on even in high school. He played high school soccer, I played high school soccer, and he switched over to football his sophomore year. But I switched over my junior year, and even coming back home to my family, I was like, okay, guys, like, I think I'm gonna play football. And they're like, you're ready to be hit? Like, it's all of that, because I was like, I was just a soccer player. You know, they call soccer players wussies. They call them whatever. But
I'm
they
a
call
soccer
them,
guy, and I'm no way, man.
I don't.
I'm on
I
this
don't.
side.
I agree.
We're
I
not
agree.
wussies.
I don't think soccer players are no wussies. But
Just the floppers, sorry.
just the flopping part. That's all it is.
I hate that.
But I was like, yeah, I'm ready. And you know, their football isn't something that's big in their culture, but they're good in the fact that like they try not to steer the boat too much in our lives, and they try to let us make decisions on our own. And they trusted me there, and we're here.
We're so glad you're here, but let's go back to Nigeria. It's not like you've forgotten your roots. So you have a special project that you are a big part of. Tell people about
No
the
doubt.
Nigeria Water Project.
Yeah. So I have this Nigeria Water Project. Online, it's www.nigeriawaterproject.org. And I started off in the 2 villages that my parents were actually born in. Wow. So that's Uve and Urokosa. And I went about building water boreholes in these villages. And these are boreholes that have 2 to 3 15,000-liter GP tanks attached to them. So it's bringing large, copious amounts of water that these villages never have. Typically, like, they walk miles just for a water source, you know, not knowing if it's clean, not knowing what it is. And this time just takes away from them going to school, takes time away from them, you know, extracurricular activities. There's so much more in productivity that could come from them if they're not worrying about this. So I was like, what can I do? And that's what we're doing. We've had 4. We just completed our 4th borehole in Ebweneki and Ugwobiabo, so it's good.
Congratulations.
It's good so far. Yes, sir. I appreciate it.
That's amazing. And one thing I love about your character is that you don't take for granted your opportunities, and you want to give back to those who don't have those opportunities, just like you explained to us. And just like before the season, I talked to you when the Special Olympians were here, and the way you were so moved by that day was so sweet for me to see and everyone else to see. I mean, why is that so important to you?
Really just because I have like a good amount of family that still lives in Nigeria. You know, a lot of my mom's side and a good amount of my dad's side, they still live in Nigeria. And I talk with them on the phone, and I see the circumstances they're in. And my parents also talk about the circumstances they were in and they grew up in. And seeing this, it's like, okay, I'm living this life. And, you know, like, my biggest concern is, oh my gosh, I'm going to be tired running this post route, you know? And they're every day waking up like, okay, we got to get eats for our family, whether it be for the day or the week. So it was just that type of thought that brought something to me.
Well, obviously you're going to be helping people, whatever you do in your life, but I do have to ask you, what is pharmaceutical nanotechnology?
Pharmaceutical nanotechnology, yeah, the overarching thing with that, yeah. It's in biomedical engineering, so like it's drug delivery, it's cancer therapy, it's overall therapy and medicine. And the nano aspect just comes from, we're looking at things from all at a nanoscale. That's like 1 to 1,000 nanometers. But it's a lot of the things you can't see, but it's a very novel type of science and research in medicine that's coming to fruition a lot. And it's also just bringing big strides in medicine, all sorts of therapies.
Well, it doesn't surprise me that you're involved in that, and you're very noble. We appreciate your time.
I appreciate you guys. Thank you.
Mudia Rueben, what's that website again as far as the...
Yeah, www.nigeriawaterproject.org.
There you go. We will wrap up Bullseye for the season next. I would say that was not a bad player to end our season of player interviews with.
He's so fascinating. I learn something every time I talk to him, and the way he cares for people on and off the field is something special. So he's a treat.
You know, speaking of caring, the Cure Bowl in its 11th season in Orlando is all about raising money for cancer research, breast cancer research specifically, so near and dear to a lot of people's hearts. It's going to be a very interesting matchup. We've said no Byram Brown. We also have Colton Joseph of Old Dominion. He's entering the transfer portal. He also ran for 1,000 yards, so who knows how it's going to look, Joey?
Yeah, you know, it's interesting. Some of these bowl games of late, you always have these new stars that emerge. I know last year, North Texas, Drew Mestamaker started the game and made a name for himself and then had a great year. So you could have something like that develop. I mean, we're going to all be looking very closely, I know, at Gaston Moore, but there may be somebody we haven't talked about yet on the USF side that could have a real impact in this game. And it's a great opportunity for your future to perform on national TV before a quality opponent. So we'll roll the dice and see what comes up.
If the Bulls win, it's their 10th win. It's their 13th bowl in 29 years, which is actually tied for third as far as in the first 25 years of being eligible for a bowl. This Old Dominion team in 5 games allowed its opponents 7 or fewer points. And Indiana, that KP mentioned, was 27-14. Now, James Madison did get them for 63 points, which shows you kind of how good James Madison in the playoff is. Got to thank a lot of people. We mentioned Coach Golish in the open, but our entire crew that works on this show. Any final thoughts as we wrap it up for the last time?
Just glad the microphones worked every week. And you guys have tolerated my nonsense, but I appreciate you guys and all that you bring to it. It's been a lot of fun. We've had quite a journey here with this season. It's been a great season.
Yes, it
a lot of
has.
highs and a lot of interesting things that have happened, and it's been a real pleasure.
Yeah, this has been such a fun team to cover, and especially with you guys. I cherish you guys like crazy and the crew here, so this has been a blast.
Thank you so much, Caylee. Joe will be on the sidelines for us on radio, and that'll be a 5 o'clock kickoff on Wednesday. The Bulls against Old Dominion. For the entire crew, thank you all. For my co-hosts, Joey Johnston and friends, Joey Johnston, Caylee Cottrell, and of course, Coach Golish, and today, Kevin Patrick and Mudia Rueben. Thanks for watching Bullseye. And as always, keep those horns up.